When eFootball 26 first dropped, I had no issues with defending. In fact, in the first phase, I reached Division 1 with ease. But the second phase, completely different story. I tried everything, new formations, different tactics, experimenting with playstyles, and I still couldn't win consistently. I went on a horrible run, 15 losses, 10 draws, and 0 wins, barely holding my ground. Honestly, I almost gave up. But instead of quitting, I scrapped everything I thought I knew about defending and decided to relearn the game from the ground up. And what happened? I went from that horrible streak to winning 10 games straight. So today I'm going to share with you the 8 defending tips and tricks that changed everything for me. This isn't just theory. These are adjustments I personally made to turn my defense from shaky to solid. And I will continue using it to reach Division 1 again. Tip 1. Forget ratings. Focus on setup. Most people think that stacking the highest rated defenders guarantees wins. I thought the same. I had legends like Baresi and Cannavaro at the back. Yet I was still conceding left, right, and center. Here's the truth. It's not about ratings, it's about balance. The old meta was pairing one build-up defender with one destroyer, then having one defensive and one offensive fullback. On paper, it sounds perfect. But in practice, the destroyer kept pushing too high, leaving gaps. So I made one simple change. I now use 2 build-up defenders and 2 defensive fullbacks. Build-ups hold their line better, which keeps your shape intact. Defensive fullbacks stay home, giving you stability on both wings. Think of it like a coach who believes the best attack is a solid defense. Also, make sure your defenders have these essential skills. Aerial superiority to dominate headers. Fighting spirit to stay strong until the final whistle. Acrobatic clearance to bail you out in panic situations. And don't overlook height. Your center back should be at least 5 feet 9 inches. Right now I'm using Augenthaler and Van Dijk, and it feels like a wall at the back. This setup reduced the cheap goals I was conceding. And that's the foundation for everything else. Tip 2. Master individual instructions. Defense isn't just about your backline when your midfield plays a massive role. Next is the individual instructions. I personally use the 4-2-1-3 formation, and here's the tip. One should have the anchorman playstyle, the other a box-to-box playstyle. For the instructions, I set the anchorman to stay back with the defensive instruction, while the box-to-box gets the deep line instruction. Together, they form a shield in front of the defense, stopping passes before they even reach my penalty area. It's like having 2 extra defenders in disguise. When I first tested this, I immediately noticed my opponents struggling to build attacks through the middle. It forced them wide. And since my fullbacks were defensive-minded, I had it covered. This builds directly on tip 1. Once you set your backline, protect it with smart midfield instructions. Tip 3. Positioning over pressure. Now, let's talk about one of the most underrated aspects of defending. Positioning. Too many players chase the ball instead of holding their ground. Instead, you need to place your defenders between the ball and the goal. Think about it. If you're in the passing lane, you don't even need to tackle. You just intercept. And if one defender gets beaten, the others are already in place to cover. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Sometimes you'll make mistakes, sure. Opponents can be clever, but if your positioning is solid, your defense as a unit will always have someone ready to clean up. This directly connects to the next point. Tip 4. Stop overcommitting. I used to have this bad habit. I'd see the ball, rush out with my center back, and leave massive gaps behind me. And you know what happened? Instant through ball, instant goal. The lesson? Stay disciplined. Don't drag defenders out of line. Don't chase every attacker. Hold your shape. This is exactly why I ditched the destroyer playstyle. I'm too aggressive, too risky. With build-ups, my defenders naturally stay in position, forcing my opponent to work harder. Once you master positioning and discipline, then you can start adding pressure in smarter ways, which leads us to tip 5, double marking. Sometimes one defender isn't enough, especially when your opponent is about to shoot. That's where double marking comes in. All you have to do is swipe up on the dash and press button, and another defender helps out. This added pressure makes attackers panic, misplace passes, or rush shots. I don't spam it, I save it for high-danger moments. But trust me, a well-timed double mark can save goals you'd normally concede. And speaking of timing, tip 6, smart player switching. Good defending is all about controlling the right player at the right time. That's why player switching is crucial. Here's the setup I recommend. Semi-assisted switching. Full auto. Unreliable, switches to the wrong player too often. Full manual. Powerful but risky unless you're an expert. Semi. The perfect balance. It gives you help but still lets you make the important decisions. With semi, I can anticipate passes, switch to the nearest defender, and close gaps without losing control. And once you're switching properly, you'll love the next tip. Tip 7. Perfect the tackle button. In eFootball 25, the tackle button was clunky, slow, and often punished you. But in 26, it's a beast, if you use it correctly. The secret is timing. Don't just spam tackle. Wait for the moment when the attacker pushes the ball slightly too far. Then press tackle. Boom! You've won it cleanly. I can't stress this enough. A good tackle at the right time not only saves your defense, it sets you up for a deadly counter. But what if you're still struggling with spammers? That's where the next tip saves you. Tip 8. Use the offside trap. Through ball spammers are everywhere this season. And yes, they can be frustrating. But here's the counter. Activate the offside trap. What it does is push your lineup, forcing the opponent's strikers to time their runs perfectly. Most of the time they'll fail, leading to offside calls and wasted attacks. This is especially effective if your opponent uses the counter-target instruction. Their strikers get caught offside again and again. And for this one, I've got to give credit. Shout out to Ollie on Instagram for teaching me this. Honestly, it's been a game changer. Bonus tip. If you're here till now and you want to know a little secret to never concede a goal ever again, it's simple. If all else fails, play the legendary Haram Ball, set up with 5 defenders, 4 defensive midfielders, 1 center forward. Score 1 goal, then drop your defensive gauge to the lowest setting. After that, spam clearances, cut out every chance and frustrate your opponent to death. It's not pretty. You won't dominate possession, but you also won't concede. Sometimes ugly football is smart football. So those are my 8 defending tips and tricks in eFootball 26. These are the exact changes I made to turn my defense around and go from losing streaks to 8 straight wins. If you found this helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more tutorials, and drop your own defensive tips in the comments. Remember, defense wins games. See you in the next one.